bell is rather special today. We'll be getting a new bell soon. Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. You're here at our Rotary Club of Fort Worth. Can you believe it's October? Our fall is here. We're going to begin our program with an invocation led by Jason Ellis, Senior Vice President at Plains Capital Bank, followed by our national anthem played by Wesley Gentle, Director and President of Arts Fort Worth.
Good afternoon. Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessing of another day and another opportunity to share lunch with friends. Let us never take this gift for granted, for the freedom that we have to gather and share our thoughts and our lives with one another. We ask that you be with the servant hearts in this room. Bless our efforts as we strive to serve our neighbors in our community and others around the world. We pray for wisdom and discernment that we may see and know your truth so that we may do your good will. Help us to seek your will and not our own. We pray that you appoint servant leaders, starting in our homes and spreading across the globe, that seek service above self. Help us to all strive to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies, and bless the hands that have prepared and served it. As we go forth, grant us a spirit of gratitude and thankfulness for your grace and your many blessings. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Jesse, Jason, and Wesley. Now, to welcome our visitors is John Laudenslager, broker-owner with Black Tie Realty.
Good morning, everyone. I guess it's afternoon now. We have quite the visiting guest list, so I'm unfortunately not going to read everyone individually. If you are a visiting Rotarian or a guest, would you please rise up and be recognized? Thank you all for coming. Hope you come back again soon. I'd also like to offer a special welcome for Mr. Kippen de Alba Chu, who is the new president of Fort Worth Sister Cities.
Thank you, John, and welcome, Kippen. Now let's take a moment and thank our wonderful program sponsors. Today's meeting is being sponsored by K&L Enterprises, courtesy of past President Larry Anfin and past Sergeant at Arms and current board member Dr. Karen Anfin. Over the last 5 years, Larry and Karen have sponsored at least 17 of our meetings. I know everyone in this room agree with how special you both are to our club. We so appreciate you and everything you do for your outstanding support of our organization. All right, folks, it's that time. Time to recite our four-way test. This is our roadmap of how we as Rotarians conduct our lives, not just here during lunch, but throughout the week with everyone we engage with. Please join me in reciting. First, second, third, and fourth. Thank you, everyone. Great job. Now, it's time for the newscast. Let's give a warm welcome to Howard Ashler, partner at Weaver.
All right, I think I'll take a page from John's book. There's a lot of news here, so I'm just not going to say anything other than if you've seen the news, stand, no, just kidding. All right, let's start with some sports news. Shohei Ohtani is one of the greatest things to happen for baseball. This year, he made the 50-50 club. That is, for those of you who don't know, he got 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases. Actually, he got more of each. This was the first time this has ever happened. But let's not forget, the Rangers have a proud member of their own 50-50 club. Anyone remember Josh Hamilton? Year after year, he had at least 50 swinging strikeouts and at least 50 caught-looking strikeouts. Both Boeing and Starbucks have new CEOs, and both companies are in Seattle, and that's great news for both companies and both sets of shareholders. While the Boeing CEO is actually going to be moving to Seattle and living there, the Starbucks CEO is going to be commuting from California. So what do you think the odds are that he's flying on a Boeing jet? All right, let's go back to sports for a minute, sort of. Dak Prescott got a new contract this year. He's getting paid about $60 million a year, which is comparable to a partner at a CPA firm. Okay, the dollars really aren't super comparable. But who's getting the worst deal out of this? Jerry Jones for Dak or Elon Musk for Twitter? I mean, X. Okay, there's a new streaming service out there called Buddy. For a mere $8 a month, you can subscribe and get all of the animal and pet content that you want. It seems like a great idea for parents with children who are looking for content. I know my kids love pets. I'll be interested to see, though, if there's a channel on there that allows you to get nothing but short cat videos so that I can watch that all day instead of doing some work. Okay. Wow, the thankless job of doing the news. All right. The state fair started last weekend, and there are so many yummy treats there and a lot of new foods as always. This year they have candied pork belly bacon bites, churro bacon cheesecake, and fat bacon pickle fries, among other things. Notice the trend here with bacon. However, the fair announced that the booth they expect to get the best attendance for is the Wegovy booth. You can get a shot for a mere 700 coupons and then enjoy the rest of the fair guilt-free. I spent like hours on that one. Okay, so how many of you romantic types like strolling with your special person on a moonlit night? Well, now you're going to have to specify which moon you're talking about, because for a limited time only, the Earth has captured a new moon. Actually, it's an asteroid that will orbit the Earth for a little bit before going back into space. Word has it that SpaceX is going to send a rocket to land on it and check it out. Why not blow another $44 billion? And finally, all right, some good news from the pits. When olives are pressed for oil, the pits are a byproduct. Scientists in Spain have figured out how to use the pits for heating energy, similar to wood pellets. Maybe in the future, Traeger's going to make an olive pit grill, no oiling the grates or the food needed. You know, olive pit, olive oil, clean the... All right. Okay, one last thing before I go, just for all of our Jewish friends, Happy New Year.
Great job, Howard. Today, we have 4 announcements. If everyone would start to make your way to the stage. First up, we will hear from Carlo Capria, Chief of Innovation and Strategy with the City of Fort Worth. He will be followed by Abby Dudek, Strategic Communications Manager and PIO with the Tarrant County 911 District. Then, International Committee Co-Chairs, Shanna Saldana, Chief of Staff, Effectives Group, and Key Bryant, Regional Director of Philanthropy with IDEA Public Schools. And our last announcement will be from Rosa Verdeja, Principal Attorney at the Law Office of Rosa Maria Verdeja. Everyone, make your way to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you, President Rebecca. So it has become a tradition of the Rotary Club of Fort Worth to welcome a cohort of high-tech, dynamic companies who have moved to Fort Worth for a short-term, intensive 13-week program to grow and scale their businesses. You may remember this program, and if you can go to the next slide if we have it, is called TechStars. And the ultimate goal from the city is that these businesses will fall such in love with the city of Fort Worth that they will move their businesses here permanently. We will be bringing them to the Rotary Club next week, and I tell you, this current group of TechStars is the most unique and most international our city has ever had. So Kippen, get ready, because we have an international group. We want to bring them here. They are from Nebraska, Chicago, Canada, the UK, and I started with Nebraska and went more international, Nigeria, France, Argentina, Italy, and Siberia. So here's the ask. They're coming next Friday. We need 8 more Rotarian volunteers to be a table host. And all it means is coming at 11:30, introducing them to some people here in the room, and then treating them to lunch. So if you're interested in being a table host, come find me after the meeting or see Aurora, and we'll look forward to welcoming them next Friday. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. 2 Saturdays ago, we completed our trash bash, and I would like to say thank you to everyone who participated, came out with friends and family, and the group also got to go and see our new adopted section out there too. Did we have pictures of that or anything? Awesome, great. So everybody came out and had a good time. Thank you for also bringing breakfast burritos and coffee and water for everybody. They had a whole setup, so if you weren't there, I went out there after I finished the 911 cleanup section, and I saw bag boards or cornhole, and there was coolers and everybody with water and, you know, appropriate beverages. And I love seeing the Rotarians come together, and we all left the Trinity River and the trails cleaner than what we found it. And again, everyone got to see where our sign was, our marker is, and I'm just glad that everybody got to check that out. So if you're wanting to ever go out there and check it out and see where it's at, I ride pretty much almost every day, and you are welcome to rent a bike and come and join me. So thank you, everybody, for participating. We're looking forward to our next time doing this.
Thank you to everyone who joined us at Hopin this week. We had a great time supporting a new local business, and also collected a lot of really great items for World Relief. If you guys took a look at what was on the list, you saw everything you need to set up a house, the things that we take for granted that were so appreciated by the refugees coming to our city. So thank you. We were able to raise $1,400 cash and several tables full of goodies.
And we want to give a special thank you to a small nonprofit here in the city that it's a much needed sports program for youth. And when I gave them the challenge of contributing to World Relief, they came with bins and baskets of things to donate. They filled my car up. And so we had a full table under the table. If you see me pausing, it's because the last few weeks that I have been up here, people keep catching me like this. So I know I have to be careful when I speak on the podium, but many thank yous, many thank yous. If you've contributed, thank you. If you thought about contributing, if you made a small donation, if you made a large donation, it made a difference.
And we're still taking donations. So if you want to catch us before you leave today, we will still take those.
And there's some international goodies on the back table back there. There are chocolates, there are crackers, there are wafers. So grab a couple, even if you don't want to make a donation.
Thank you.
Hello, I just have a couple of updates on the Richard L. Knight Rotary Minority Business Awards. I'm thrilled to share that we did pick up a new sponsor this week at the four-way level, which is the $5,000 level, and that sponsor is Bank of Texas. So thank you to Mr. Bill McCoy for the support, and also to Chris Jordan for making that connection. Do we have the slide? Yes, okay. Sponsorship opportunities are still available. We have levels starting at $500. Feel free to scan the QR code, fill out a short form, and we will invoice you at a later date. Also, I want to remind everyone that nominations are now open. We encourage everyone to take a moment and think about the businesses that they do business with, to think about nominating those businesses that you frequent, and keep in mind the awards aim to recognize minority businesses here in Fort Worth that have demonstrated the core values of the Rotary four-way test through their leadership, their community engagement, and outstanding business practices. Once a nomination is made, we will reach out to those individual business owners and encourage them and guide them on completing the application. We do welcome self-nomination, so don't hesitate to nominate yourself, and we will have the link open until January 15th. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo, Abby, Shanna, Key, and Rosa. And as you just heard, this organization began as a B2B organization, and which we continue to do today. And thank you for everybody stepping up and helping as this continues. We have a lot of things going on happening within our club, so don't be shy to join in, find your place. That's what the Rotary family is all about. Now, that amazing feeling it is to bring in new members. As a membership organization, we would not be here today if it was not for you, all of our members. Today, we have 2 new members joining us. First, we'll hear from Ed McLinn, who will be followed by Don Click. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Rebecca. Real quick, one thing I've always wanted to enter as a food at the state fair is deep-fried Pepto-Bismol. So anybody wants to get with me on that, let me know. Hello and good afternoon. It's me again. I'm excited to introduce to everyone, to my fellow Rotarians, Kevin Chikotsky as the newest, but not quite the youngest member of the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. Aurora ran another report for me here somewhere, and he is younger than 94.3% of the current membership. Anyway, seriously, folks, Kevin is a Fort Worth native who recently moved back after experiencing Colorado and Chicago for a few years, and he's already immersed himself in our club even before getting his red badge, most notably joining the AV committee that helps put all the game day stuff together, along with Garrett, who was introduced last week. Anyway, if all that pre-introduction service counts, maybe he's bypassing the red badge and going straight for the blue badge. We'll find out here in a second. Anyway, Kevin works here in Fort Worth with his 2 cousins as a business broker now that he's here, and I will now turn the podium over to Kevin. Kevin, do you need this? Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate it. I wanted to say, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm very gracious to be here. This is an incredible community. As a native, this city holds a special place in my heart. I grew up here, surrounded by the warmth and spirit of community. And after being away for a couple years, I was wondering why I was not coming back. So now being here, it's wonderful to be back. And I'm not sure why I was gone for so long. I had the pleasure of meeting Ed through my cousin, who's a professor at TCU, and that connection clearly led here. And thank you, Ed, for the opportunity to be here. I've been told I'm going to be inducted as a Maclinite, whether he agrees or not. And a little bit about me and the family. If you don't know, we used to have a grocery store. If you do remember, you'll probably give me a good story about the good old days. What you didn't know probably is we also were at the public market on Henderson doing the meat exchange and trade, as well as helping start Carson's Deli. And some of you are more familiar with the liquor store. Now was the family liquor store. It was almost a rite of passage for people in TCU to work there. And we tried some of the wares, but don't tell TABC, please. But on a lighter note, I think we just all love to schmooze. I'm passionate about the four-way test, and the first time I was here, I was hooked. I've been striving to do this in my personal and professional life for many years, and with the motto, now I have one. So thank you again for warmly welcoming me. It's been great getting to know some of you, and hopefully I'll know all of you soon enough.
Good afternoon. It's my honor to introduce Laura Pritchett as a new member for Rotary. Laura is a proud Christian, faithful wife, and devoted mother who is active in her church and community. Her love for God and people is the essence of her unswerving faith and traditional family values. Laura is a faithful conservative who is passionate about preserving the constitutional rights of this generation and the ones to follow. She is the daughter of a retired lieutenant colonel who served 24 years in the U.S. Air Force. Laura earned her Bachelor's of Art degree in International Studies with a concentration in Political Science and completed coursework in the Masters of International Management program, both at the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, Minnesota. Laura currently serves her company as the Global Account Director, providing software services to regional, national, and multinational technology companies. During her more than 25 years in business, she has been widely recognized as an industry influencer due to her strong leadership, knowledge, and collaborative approach to problem solving. Laura honors her family legacy with community service. She currently serves on the Tarrant County as a trustee for District 4 for Tarrant County. She is the Restore Liberty State Director for Texas. She is a precinct chairman, and she is committee leader for the Patriots of Faith. I'm proud again to introduce Laura Pritchett as a new member.
Thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I don't have any prepared notes, but based on what Don said, I have a lot to live up to, because that sounded pretty good for everything he said about me that I gave him to say. But it's a great pleasure to be here today. One of the things that was very important to me and why I wanted to be part of this group is to be able to give back to my community in another way, in another avenue. Very involved in my community, but this is takes this to another level, and I've been very immensely impressed with all of the work that this group does. So probably a little fun fact about me. It may sound like I'm nomadic, but I'm not when I say that I've lived in 7 states. I've visited all 50 states, and I have visited 22 countries, including Russia, right after the fall of the Soviet Union. I've also been in Asia, in Singapore, and in Tokyo, and it's been an absolute joy to be able to travel around the world in the ways that I've been able to do so. So thank you very much. I'm glad to be part of this, very proud to be proud of this, and thank you for having me.
Look towards Abby. Move on over, move on over. Just right, that's fine. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, thank you. Come back this way. Appreciate you, thank you. Thank you, appreciate you. Glad you're here. Oh, thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abby, for being back. We appreciate you doing that. Welcome, Kevin and Laura, and thank you, Ed and Don. We appreciate new members. What a great job our membership committee is doing. Keep it up. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our chairperson and moderator of the day, our own past president, J.R. Labby, partner chief communication officer with CSE Leadership, LLC, to introduce today's program. Welcome.
Thank you, President. Rebecca. We are honored to have the leaders of the Fort Worth community's 3 Chamber of Commerce is with us today. Annette Soto Landeros is the president and CEO of the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber, the longest tenured of the chamber execs here today. Annette took the helm of the FWHC in July of 2019 after serving 12 years in various positions with the U.S. Department of Transportation, including 5 years as a project manager in the Office of Inspector General. Michelle Green Ford became president CEO of the Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber in January 2022 after spending 6 years at JPS Health Network, which is where I had the privilege of meeting and working with her. Her work as the Vice President Chief Diversity Officer gave her oversight of the health system's vendor diversity programs, a perfect launching pad for the Black Chamber's focus. And Steve Montgomery is the newbie in chamber leadership, joining the Fort Worth Chamber as president CEO in July of 2023. Steve's decades of government relations experience comes in handy when overseeing an organization whose mission includes networking and advocacy for its business members. So I'm going to invite the 3 of you to come up and join me, grab a microphone that we are almost 100% certain will work. Onward. Hi, bud. I'm so comfortable in this chair. I'm back in my sandbox, being able to ask people questions they don't want to answer. So, in the interest of getting right to the questions, I'm going to do something that I actually hate to do, and that's I'm going to assume that most of you in this room know what a Chamber of Commerce is and what it's supposed to be doing. So I'm not even going to give them time to make statements at the start. Yeah, I'm that kind of mean. So we're going to start with, it's an admittedly softball question that addresses the topic of the title of today's program, which was Chambers in a Digital World, or in a digital word, if you read it in our announcement today. So, in an age when technology makes information and access to people and businesses relatively easy, what's your sales pitch for chamber membership?
Hey, I'll go first because this is an easy one.
Yeah. And thank you for wearing shoes.
So, and I did wear shoes today, Barlin, so. Yeah, it's a great question. You know, if you think about what a chamber can do, and as technology comes along and there's ways to interface and connect with your peers and your business partners, chambers and these 2 fabulous women who I get to work with know this well, that we have to reinvent ourselves, right? We have to continue to evolve and make sure we're adding value and have a good value proposition for our members. And so in this world, it's, you know, there are lots of digital ways to connect, but there's nothing that's better than person-to-person contact, right? Making eye-to-eye contact, that's how business really is conducted. Yes, there's a lot of ways you can do business digitally, but Fort Worth is a very relational town, and it's very much about making those personal connections, and you only do that, in my opinion, by sitting across the table or sitting eye-to-eye to somebody, and that can only be done person-to-person. So that's the value I think we can bring, the ability to convene.
Michelle.
Yes, I'm excited about this question because one of the things that we find with our members is that they are looking for that personal touch. They're looking for someone that they can connect with. And also there's another piece of that which has to do with the motivation. So face to face, we're finding that we're able to motivate and encourage, and the comfort level of finding out where people are really struggling or where they need assistance. I think the sales pitch for us is that it takes all three. It takes the verbal communication, the nonverbal, and obviously digital is still a huge part of being able to get that mass communication out there quickly. So we focus on leveraging all the pieces of communication in order to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our members.
Thank you.
Yeah, all great responses. I would also add that when you join a chamber of commerce, you're joining a chamber, a family of peers, also folks that are business leaders or even business owners that are trying to grow their business. So you're really now surrounding yourself with folks that have seen it, done it, been there. We like to say, like, even just starting a business, you probably have similar experiences where your family told you, why? Why would you do that? You know what I mean? And you had to develop your business proposition. You had to really learn how to stand on your own 2 feet, be able to, make sure that you can quantify what you're offering and your products are different from what everyone else is offering. So everyone has these shared experiences, but now you're in a community of others, and some may be a little bit ahead. They may be decades longer in existence. They can offer you some advice. Some are maybe younger, and you're gonna be the inspiration for them. But really, it's a community of collaborators that are excited and wanting to work together and wanting to support each other's businesses. And so that's the unique business proposition that we offer.
Thank you all. Great answers from all of you. In preparing my questions today, I asked random acquaintances, and most of my acquaintances are really random, for question ideas. And the most common question among about a dozen people I spoke with was, why does Fort Worth need 3 chambers?
Can I take that one?
You can all answer.
That's a really good question. So 5 years ago, I took over the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I got that question a lot. Do we still need a Hispanic chamber? And one of the things that I said initially was, no Hispanic person has ever asked me whether we need a Hispanic chamber, because they actually see the value in what we're doing, and I'm so excited about that. But I will say that I know that there are cities that only have 1 chamber, and then there are some that have more. Like, there are some that have, like, Northeast something city chamber. They have, several. What I always say, and here in DFW, not only do I have my 3 peers here, there are several other Hispanic chambers in the Metroplex. And what I can tell you is that we are never bored. Like, our calendars are completely full. We are servicing an incredible amount of people, and we are all doing it to the best of our ability and trying to meet the communities by which we serve. I tell that to when another Hispanic chamber is founded, I'm like, that's great, because we are so busy, and we are limited in our capabilities, and there's more businesses getting started every day. There is so much to do, y'all, that there is space for 3 chambers to exist. And I would say that if anything, it actually helps ensure that we're reaching every community in Fort Worth. And so when you get 3 leaders that can say, absolutely, I'm working in that community every day, and this is what I'm hearing, and this is what the questions I'm getting asked, you as city leaders are getting a true full perspective that is representative, that is informed, and that can speak with certainty for their community.
Okay, I'd like to just add a few things to that. I think it's really key. My first day as chamber president, I was met by a group of reporters in the conference room, and that's one of the first questions they asked me, and I thought, it's my first day. But really, I gave that some real thought. It's really important. I think when people ask that question, what they're really asking is, are we collaborating? Are we working together? Or are we working against or competing? I think that's really the question. And so I think it's really important to understand that while we have 3 chambers, we're all very collaborative, and we're working towards the same goal, and we're working to connect for the city's purposes. The reasons why we still exist, though, is there are some specific needs in our community that need to be addressed. For example, if you look at Black-owned businesses in Fort Worth, we're about 3%. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of specific things related to the community that we're able to address. us. And so the way I see that is, yes, we have different chambers, but we're all collaboratively working together, but focus on some specific areas that need lots of attention that we can give them as we really focus in our key areas. So it's exciting, and we're definitely connected. I think that's the message I want everyone to know, that we connect for the better good of everyone here in the city.
And I honestly can't add much more to that. I think they're spot on. You know, and keep in mind that I, born and raised Fort Worth, if Fort Worth was a color, that's the color I would bleed. I mean, I'm truly passionate about my city, our community. But there's some historical legacy context to remind ourselves as well. As someone who now leads the Fort Worth Chamber, I recognize that some of our ancestors were not as welcoming and inclusive as we could have been across this community. And the vibrancy of our community truly depends on the collaboration of all business opportunity, and that prosperity should be spread around, and the opportunity should be spread around, is what I'm trying to say. And so I could not be, again, more proud to be able to work with my peers, my colleagues, and my friends as we try to make sure that Fort Worth embraces that, because as an entire community, we're stronger together.
So this isn't a written down question. What does that look like in reality, that I am a Black business owner, a Hispanic business owner, and I want to get the attention of some of the more traditional businesses that may be in your chamber? How do I get to know when they're hiring, when you have RFPs, when you have a contract that might have a diversity percentage of people working on that? How do I get in front of those businesses that largely are historically members of your chamber?
So we do a lot of collaborative convening. We have a business after hours coming up in a few weeks, a joint, we call tri-chambers. And again, members from all three chambers are going to be in the room together. We invite each other in our memberships, cross-pollination and a lot of our convening opportunities. And frankly, a lot of the members, the historical members of the Fort Worth Chamber are also members of the Hispanic and Metropolitan Black Chambers. So I think the companies themselves recognize those opportunities as well.
That's absolutely correct. So we are working hand in hand with all the same partners for the most part.
So I'm a new young business owner, don't know what I'm doing, and that's the truth, quite frankly. I have a business and I have no idea what I'm doing. What mentoring or leadership programs do you provide for your members that help them thrive and stay in Fort Worth and stay in business?
We've really focused a lot on new business owners. About 50% of the business owners that we represent are micro, that is 10 employees or less. And because of that, we have really structured some educational programs to make sure we're meeting those needs. One of them is a master class that we do along with Prosperity Bank. And it's a 6-week intense session that takes you through everything from how do I structure my business to how do I get funding for the business, marketing, branding, comprehensive. And we do a couple things with that. One, we connect them with bankers that can help them. But in addition to that, we connect them with mentors. So the chamber provides mentors for each individual. So we just try to do a holistic approach. It's a foundational approach. And what I like about it is the bank actually rewards that effort. So there's a $2,500 line of credit for those that go through that process, and that's excellent. And there's also a masterclass pitch, so you can actually win a pitch competition, and we do our job advocating and marketing after that program is over. But that's just one example, but we really took a hard look at who our members were and what those foundational skills were, and how to build an ecosystem and mentor system to support them.
So we have, it's Launch Fort Worth or Lanzada Fort Worth in Spanish. We do the Kauffman Foundation's Fast Track program for entrepreneurs between 0 and 2 years. We do that twice a year, once in English, once in Spanish. That's a cohort program for about 10 to 15 entrepreneurs as they're launching. We have a business pitch competition as well. So once you've got your concept, hopefully you will pitch it and learn how to speak about it confidently. And what we're really excited about is when we started that, our goal was to get more people participating in the city's business plan competition. And we've had several that have gone on to do that. So we're really excited about that. We do one-on-one business consulting when you are now into the next phase and need more direct attention, because now you're in business and you have very specific questions. And so we do that. And then if you are going to be a certified minority business owner, we have an MWBE specialist. He will then take you and help you with your M or W certification, women-owned business as well, we've assisted. And then we have Financial Friday, because we find that the financial acumen is really the part that our businesses just, it's not fun part, and they don't want to talk about it, and it's hard to even get people to go to these because they just don't want to, but that's what we really need to be disciplined on as business owners, the accounting, the bookkeeping, and the financial part. So we have Financial Fridays for that, and then just various other spot-on programs as needs arise.
Great, thank you.
So I've been very intentional in my 13 months at the Fort Worth Chamber to dial us back and focus on the fundamentals of what small businesses need. And I'll give you a reason why, or give you the thing that really motivated me to do this. Very blessed that some of the largest corporations in our city are members of the Fort Worth Chamber. One in particular is Lockheed. So I talked to my friends at Lockheed, and I'm like, okay, guys, you don't sell more F-35s because of your membership in the Fort Worth Chamber. You just don't. So why are you members? And they're friends of mine, so I can ask them an honest question like that. Their answer was very interesting. He said, well, first of all, we're good corporate citizens. We want to invest in the community, and that's true. They do invest in our community. Second is there are things that you can advocate for as the voice of the business community in Fort Worth that we might not want to put our nameplate on, right? There might be something we're for or we're against that we don't really want to spend our political capital on, and we want you to speak on behalf of us and the other members of the business community. The third answer was most interesting to me was, we're competing for talent against Northern Virginia and Southern California and all these other defense clusters, and we need to convince people that Fort Worth, Texas is a great place to come live and work. And you get there by having a vibrant local economy, and you get there by having vibrant local businesses that are prospering. And that's what we want you to focus on, Fort Worth Chamber. That's why we invest in you, is because you're investing in the business community in Fort Worth, Texas. And the bell went off. It's like, that's what we need to focus on. So kind of what Annette and Michelle are talking about, we do skills development, we do hot topics for business owners. And it can be, look, I know how to make my widget, but I don't know crap about cybersecurity, or I don't know how to do digital marketing. I don't know how to, I need some HR advice. I need some, Janet, I need some litigation advice or some guidance on some business law. And so we do seminars. We come in, open to all members, come in and sit in a room with someone who's an expert who can tell you what you need to know about this. And it's not a sales pitch. It's a, here's some skills transfer. Here's some information you need to know as a business owner. But we all know how business works. It's like you're in a room and you hear something, man, I need to go talk to that lady after this. And you go say, can I call you after this? And so that begets business, and that's good, but it's also a great opportunity for business owners to learn some basic skills that need. That's a value add we have.
Thank you all. So from your membership's perspective, what do you see as the biggest challenges the city needs to overcome in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think Annette probably should answer that question.
Workforce, right? I think at the end of the day, it's still the big hot topic, and you know that we've got some changes happening here in our city actively, and I think that at the end of the day, you can be the most committed business owner, but if you can't trust other people to help you, run that business or be front of house for your business, that doesn't allow you as a business owner the opportunity to handle all of the things that you need to do, right? All the responsibilities to move that forward. So workforce is still top of mind for everyone. I think also growth and ensuring that that there's space for everyone as our city continues to grow. The economy is not great, so we're seeing, you all are seeing it. It's always very sad when you hear a restaurant closure, maybe somewhere you really enjoyed, but it's even more sad when you actually know the family that owned it or the people that owned it, and to have to watch them close, that's very, very, it hurts us all. And so, but we also know that the economy is hard on families, so we're all sticking together. So we're just really trying to be there for folks and trying to help in any way that we can. If it's a restaurant, like, can there be an extra catering? Like, there's got to be another company that's looking for catering, whatever it can be to try to get us through these difficult times. But I would say workforce is definitely one, trying to survive the current local economy, and that we manage growth in a way that there's space for everyone when we move forward.
Thank you.
I would like to just add a little bit to the workforce conversation. When I started, my focus was business development. How can we get our business owners more contracts? How can we make sure they're out there, they have the resources? Quickly, I was able to determine that it was workforce that was just as important and that they go hand in hand. One of the things I think the city has to focus on is where is the pipeline of workers? So we're reaching back further to the schools, to filling the gaps, making sure that we're having those conversations about where people go in terms of their careers and what the options are. And particularly in some of the communities we focus on, we find that there's a lot of hopelessness and sometimes not knowing what opportunities are there. So we go to make sure we fill in those gaps to say, here's where you have opportunities with education, here's where you have opportunities with different types of work, and we really focus with our business owners to help us fill those gaps. So I agree with Annette, workforce is going to be really key in making sure that we're filling that pipeline so we're continually growing strong as a city in all of our areas. Yeah.
Yeah, I echo that very much so. You know, we survey our members routinely, and I'm out talking to members every single day, and retention, attraction of workforce is the number one issue. Like my colleagues had mentioned, we work with educational entities, you know, Tarleton, Rachel, Wesleyan, TCU, UTA, to make sure that they're talking with industry and we're facilitating those conversations so that and TCC especially, that they're turning out the right skill set for what industry needs and giving opportunity for young people to enter the workforce, so very much so.
So we're going to stay on education for just a second.
Yay.
A Fort Worth Report story this week about the public education woes right now in Fort Worth revived the statistic that between 2010 and 2022, 530 companies moved or expanded to North Texas, and only 8% were in Fort Worth. How does the latest brouhaha within the Fort Worth ISD impact your members, and what are your organizations doing about it?
Are there any other questions?
Questions from the audience.
Look at the time.
Look at the time. It 100% impacts us. So, you know, there's everybody, I don't need to recite or repeat what's been talked about here over the last few weeks here locally, but it very much directly impacts our competitiveness as a community. When companies are looking at Fort Worth, you know, all too often we, you know, and I don't want to call anybody out, but I know companies that have located here where their senior executives moved to Keller, or moved to Colleyville, moved to Southlake because of schools. And that's incredibly frustrating to me. We have so many opportunities here in Fort Worth. We have great private schools. We have, in the ISD, there are some great accomplishments. You know, I know it's got huge challenges, and I'm the first to raise my hand and say, yes, we need to fix those and address them, but there are some true great achievements there. But it absolutely 100% impacts our ability to attract businesses because they ask us that. They ask about you know, reliability of the grid. They ask about water resources, and they ask about workforce and talent. And tell us about your local schools. Now, keep in mind that there are, I think, 12 or 14 school districts that cover Fort Worth proper. And so it draws from a lot of different school districts, and some of them are extremely high performing. But the bulk of our talent is coming from Fort Worth ISD. And it's incumbent on everybody in this room is touched by it to make sure our school district is performing up to what our kids and our future deserve. And so from my perspective is engagement. We've got to be at the table. Businesses are impacted by what's happening at the ISD, and we have to be at the table. I'll add real quickly, I see that as being engaged on the school board level as well.
So, and I know she's going to offer a different perspective because we have a Dunbar High School graduate right here. I am not from Fort Worth, but I've been here 15 years it's been the same conversation the entire time I've been here. And I will say that while I recognize that leadership changes are part of organizational shifts, I think we as a community also have to change our own rhetoric. Like we have to all band together and do more for our kids and for those teachers and everyone that is participating in our education system. We have to just band together and change how we talk about Fort Worth ISD. Let's just put it out there, specifically Fort Worth ISD. Because we can't just, we just can't move forward, y'all. We haven't moved forward in this entire time, and the only thing that we can do is if we are not actively in the schools, participating, getting our companies to give back, whatever it is, then we are not helping either. And so I do think that this is a point, and what I feel like what is currently going on is a call to action for everyone, a call to action to responsibility, to performance, to accountability. Accountability is so important. But also to action from business leaders, community leaders, everyone to step up and be a part of that change.
Okay, and I totally agree with both Annette and Steve. And Annette mentioned the perspective that I am a Dunbar graduate from Fort Worth ISD. Yes, so yes. And as a person that received so much from the district a long time ago, I won't give you years on that, a long time ago, but it's very personal to me because when I see the students, I see myself in that system. And so as we talk about responsibility as a chamber, we're taking on that responsibility to engage. So when we're called to ask to serve on advisory, we're on the advisory for Fort Worth ISD. When we're called to speak, I've done lots of work where I was recently at Christine Moss Elementary for Career Day. And boy, was that fun. And so being able to speak one-on-one about entrepreneurship with third, fourth, fifth, sixth graders. So I agree that the rhetoric has to change, and the understanding that it's all of us that it will take to move the dial. And so we are here as chambers not only to work with the district, but to be avenues for how do we move forward and how do we move individuals in that district into the workplace to be productive and to do great things for the city.
Thank you all. I get accused of not giving time for questions from the floor when I sit up here. So does anybody have a question that they would like to ask? Randy?
Annette and Michelle were saying, what is there that the chambers could do to keep people that are in the pipeline, the students in the Fort Worth school districts, to want to stay here in Fort Worth and to work in one of the businesses that you're talking about to improve the workforce?
Did everybody hear the question?
Push out affirmatively.
So what can the chambers do to keep the local students who are in the pipeline of going to work in Fort Worth and not going somewhere else to seek their careers?
Yeah, I think that's where internships and mentorships, so those relationships with business owners have already started. They're already there. So it's not a question of where I go. It's I already know where I fit and I understand how to work in this environment. So that's one of the ways that we're already connected. It's not just this decision that happens at the end of my education. It's something that's already there.
Yeah, I agree. And then wherever we can to really get our business leaders to be visible, to your point, Michelle showing up for a career day, we don't know how many little girls are like, wow, okay, like I could do that. You know what I mean? And it's so something as simple as that, you know what I mean? And we just need to make sure that we're making our members aware of those opportunities, that it's not just us, that it's you all as well, that they're seeing you, that they're, whenever I go talk to students, I say, listen, y'all are the hot topic. Everyone's talking about you. Everyone is so excited for you. You are the future. We are the past. Like, I can't tell you how many people truly care about you and what you're gonna do. So how can we help you? You know what I mean? And so the more people that they see saying that to them, I think that that would be great. But also internships. There's so many folks that don't even know what they can do in our city. And I feel really terrible when kids go away, like if they're the great students may go away to college and they think that they can't come back because opportunities don't exist here. We have to make sure that they always know there is so many opportunities, a wealth of opportunities for you right here in Fort Worth, and doors that are ready to open for you specifically. So internships would help with that.
Absolutely. Opportunity is the bottom line, right? And I think a kid would stay here if the opportunity was here. And it's about aligning the skills, right? What does the local, what skills do they have, and how does it align with the local demand for skills? You know, I talked to kids graduating from TCU that are going to Dallas because they couldn't find that finance job here in Fort Worth. I hate that, right? It's like, oh, we got to figure a way to keep those folks here. So making sure the skills, the opportunity and the skills alignment.
Thank you all for being here today. We appreciate your choice to sit up here and be.
I had a choice.
No, you did not.
I
They did. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, yes. Steve, be nice. Keep your hands to yourself. Thank you all. Thank you all. This is wonderful. I'll let you.
Let me go.
Yes,
You'll
here,
do
this
your
thing. Thanks, hon.
Thank you, thank you.
You're great president. Oh my goodness, that was wonderful. So I do have one quick question. How many of you in here, show of hands, belong to one of these chambers of commerce? That is awesome, everybody. Fort Worth, we are so, so blessed to have these individuals in our community making such a difference, and all of you that are participating as well. Thank you, Annette, Michelle, Steve, and JR. We appreciate you. To recognize your time at your seat, you'll see we've given you a little something to show our appreciation, and that's been made in a donation to the Rotary Polio Plus Foundation. Thank you again. Everyone, just a few closing announcements. Thank you again to our wonderful sponsors, Karen and Larry Anfin. We appreciate you with K&L Enterprises. And to our past Rotarian, Gordon Boswell, who's left in his legacy that we have a beautiful floral arrangement every week at the podium from Gordon Boswell Flowers. Today, immediately following this luncheon, we will have our International Committee meeting in the Rotary Office, Suite 305 at 1:15. If you want to be a Techstars sponsor host, contact Aurora. And next week, everyone, we will hear from Captain Bo Huffstetler. He will share the importance of the Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base here in Fort Worth. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with us today. We have come to a close. Have a great weekend, and meeting is adjourned. Bell. It's broke. It's broke.